Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today what we're going to be talking about is just my story with scoliosis, my story with the surgery. So I want to address a lot of questions I've had around the surgery. So I get a ton of questions on my Instagram about people basically asking, hey, what's the surgery like? Does it help? Do I still get pain? Blah, blah, blah. All these sort of things. So basically in this video I'm just going to go over my basic story with this whole thing, because surgery is daunting. It's incredibly scary. So for me, what happened is I was diagnosed in 2011 with having scoliosis. It's a curvature of the spine. For those of you that don't know, just basically your spine goes to an S shape. Mine was, I believe, 54 degrees, which I believe they operate over anything of 45. So I was significantly over. We waited as long as we could, as long as it was bearable before they operated. I didn't have that much severe pain before they operated, but I think I just didn't know anything else. And it just sort of gradually increased. There wasn't anything really, it wasn't anything major that really jumped out to me, pain-wise. It just, I knew that I had it, I could feel it. I would sit on a chair and I'd feel lopsided. I still have that. When it comes to the surgery, what happened basically is I was told that I need surgery. We planned for it on January 14th, 2012. I had the surgery at Auckland Hospital, Auckland Starship Hospital, I believe, because I was in my first year of high school at this point, or I was just about to enter it. I had the surgery, and then when it comes to details around the surgery, I was given if you want me to describe the way that it happens like this. Well, it happened like this for me. I was just waiting. It was only maybe a few hours waiting. I was just sitting in my little place that I would be sleeping in for the next week or so. They didn't really tell me when I was going in because we just had to wait for it to be, once the operating theatre was free, I would instantly go there. So then at some point they just rushed in and said, okay, it's time to go. And then they gave me pills to take. This was something that blew my mind, and it's something that really resonates with me. Is they gave, I don't know what they gave me. I've done a course on pharmacology and I still have no clue what they gave me. But they gave me something that basically made me not remember a single thing. I was in the hospital bed, and then they just started wheeling me out the door. And I just started to go blurry, and I tried to stay awake, but I couldn't. So then instantly I just fell asleep, or I just can't remember it. I'm not sure what happened to this day. But basically it makes it relatively trauma-free. My mum says that I was quite scared, and I was saying I was scared, but, you know, I can't remember a thing. There's no trauma associated. I don't have a fear of surgery that much anymore, or anything like that. So it wasn't that scary of a thing actually having the surgery. That thing wasn't too scary. My surgery was quite severe, but I don't think I could even grasp that at that age. I was like 12. I couldn't even grasp the fact that surgery could potentially have some serious effects. So yeah, they just wheeled me. I remember being wheeled towards an elevator, and then I can't remember a single thing past then. I don't know if I remember the elevator doors opening. Can't remember a thing. Next thing I remember was really, really weird. Obviously, I was very drugged up. I was on morphine, and whatever else they gave me. A lot of painkillers, because it was spinal surgery, so it's a spinal fusion, T3 to L2. Yeah. So the next thing that I remember after being wheeled into the operating theatre, well, I went to the elevator and I can't remember anything from that. The next thing I remember was I sort of woke up and I felt so weak. I'd never felt so weak in my entire life. And I still have never felt that weak. It was insane. There's an obvious reason for that. I'd literally had my back cut open and then metal rods inserted. My spine had been messed with. Yeah. And I woke up and I remember I could see my sister in the corner of the room, and I tried to raise my hand, but I couldn't. I couldn't lift my hand. I wasn't constrained or anything. I just didn't have the energy. And I remember a nurse telling me, hey, calm down, calm down. They tried to just calm me down. That's what I remember. My sister doesn't remember this happening, so maybe I was being delusional because of all the drugs and the surgery and the pain or something. But yeah, I remember that, which was, it's weird to think about now because I don't know if it actually happened or not. But yeah, I think I can't even remember what happened after that, really. All I know is that week I was just lying in bed I was in the hospital for a total of 8 days. I'll go through what happens during this period right now. So during this period, you lose a lot of your appetite try and eat if you can, but I didn't feel like eating. I've never been a big food person myself. I struggle to gain weight. I don't really like food at all. I put some pictures on the screen of what I looked like before the surgery, or at the start of the days, the end of the days. It's pretty daunting. I lost a decent amount of weight just because I wasn't eating. And the next thing that is quite weird is, and also it is a dangerous thing, is I couldn't shit. My bowels basically shut down because they saw that as it was less important for my bowels to be working than to try and recover from the surgery because it was so severe. I had a fusion from T3 to L2, so that's like 70% of my spine. It's a lot, a big surgery. And then from there, basically what I went into, I just sort of, the physios came in, they sort of tried to teach me how to walk again. It wasn't anything major, but it's just I couldn't really get myself down to the toilet anyway. So yeah, they tried to teach me how to walk, helped me shit. That took a while. That took a few attempts. Wasn't the most pleasant things. Basically, they had to stick this thing in your asshole, and then it helps you shit. First 2 times it didn't work, but eventually it worked, which is great. But apart from that, I had no other complications. I haven't had any other complications. It literally saved my life. I wouldn't be able to walk. I'm 20 years old now, and I wouldn't be able to walk if I didn't have the surgery. They said by 21 I could barely walk. So, and I put some videos on the screen of what I can do now. I've run a half marathon, I've lifted weights, I've gained 20 kilos of muscle. I've done some extraordinary things physically. And I wouldn't be able to do any of those if I didn't have the surgery. So I'm not saying that you should get the surgery if you're wondering, but I'm just trying to be the one light of positive out there because everyone else seems to be doing, all you see about the surgery is the negative. I find there's not much in the light of people saying, hey, surgery's good, go do it. It's probably good for you. A lot of people just tend to blow it off and just only focus on the bad bits, which I think is ridiculous. But yeah, overall, the surgery literally changed my life. It was probably the best decision. I wouldn't say I made, I'd say my mother made. Best decision she ever made for me. I'm not sure if there's better treatments out there nowadays, but it literally saved my life. Now I'm a bodybuilder looking to compete next year. I've run half marathons. It's the best decision ever. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything else I should touch on. If you have any other questions, leave it in my Instagram. A few things I would like to touch on is what is my pain now? So I get a decent amount of pain, but I think that's because I'm a bodybuilder. I think bodybuilding helps to a point, but not to the point that I do it. So I've lifted weights for the last 3 years, every single day pretty much. I do add rest days, so I have deloads. So that's a deload is around a 1 week to maybe even 2 weeks break. Sometimes it's shorter than that, but sometimes it's longer. It's around a 1 week break. And then I have obviously I'm currently working out 4 days a week. So I'll have 4 days a week where I lift weights and then 3 days where I don't. So you're relatively not doing that much. And also trying to eat a lot of food. So a lot of this time I'm trying to be in a calorie surplus. But injuries occur. And I think you're going to get more injuries if you're physical with scoliosis. But I think you'll get more issues in the long term, not injuries, just degeneration, other issues, joint issues, if you don't know how to do these things. So I think, and the doctor's recommendations were, you can lift weights, it's fine, but just don't be stupid. Effectively, never go below 5 reps at a high RPE or a high intensity. So never go to failure at something lower than 5 reps. That's my general guideline that I pretty much say to everyone. So for instance, if deadlifting feels okay to you, never try and do a 1 rep max. Never try and do a 3 rep max. I've done 1RMs on bench press in the past, but I think it's a stupid idea. It's not really useful. I wouldn't try and be a powerlifter if you have a spinal fusion. It's dangerous, I think. Because if you pull your back out, you're pulling $500,000 of surgery out, not just your back out for a week. It's actually a big deal. But yeah, when it comes to my pain, I get costochondritis. I don't know if this is an issue with the surgery because it's at the top of my fusion. That's where I get it. And I more think it's just irritation because my pecs have grown so much from lifting weights, and then my back muscles and everything's pulling, and it's all just creating a lot of irritation. It never has had time to fully heal because I've never taken a prolonged period off the gym. So I think that's one issue. I can fix it relatively easy with exercise selection. Basically, I don't do normal bench press very much or very often. I basically just do floor press, which works fantastic for me. I've done videos on this, go check them out. I did one on my top 3 exercises for people with scoliosis for bodybuilding. And I think those three exercises are fantastic if you're a bodybuilder. But yeah, in general, I don't get much pain. I used to get a lot of lower back pain back when I did exercises that weren't good for me. So I would try and squat, I would try and deadlift, all these sort of things. But now I pretty much get no lower back pain. I don't get much pain at all, really. The costochondritis is basically gone now. That was like a 6-month stint. There's always going to be chronic pain. And especially as a bodybuilder, you're going to get more. But I wouldn't recommend just being not active as someone with scoliosis. I would definitely recommend moving. Because if you're not moving and you don't understand how to move or how you can exercise, then you're not going to know in future what to do when you do get an injury, because there's nothing that's caused that except complacency. And now it's like when there's an issue that arises, I can figure out, okay, why has it occurred? And I can go through a logical process, and I can go to a physio and they can say, okay, don't do this exercise. It's probably not the best for you, or your core's weak, or whatever. There's usually an issue behind it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't think there's anything else I need to touch on. Yeah, basically I think it's the best decision that I ever made, or it was made for me. It literally saved my life. Genuinely, literally, I would be a cripple if this did not occur. So yeah, cool. I hope you make the best decision for you. This is not me saying definitely go and get surgery. It depends. There's a lot of other methods that work. Do your research. But if you have had surgery, I hope it's going well for you. I didn't have any complications. I hope you didn't. Complications can occur though. With any surgery, there's risks. But think about the potential rewards if you're sort of making this decision. Because I know it's a scary one to make. But yeah, I hope you make the right decision.